Welcome to a video that's overdue, but overdue in a way that I didn't even realize that it was overdue. I have not made a ranking list video in quite some time, I feel like. So I've been making videos for just over 4 years now on YouTube, and I really kind of forgot what videos I've made in the past. So I was looking through my rankings videos and realized that I was supposed to make a follow-up on Harry Styles. I made my first Harry Styles ranking video before Harry's House was even released, and that was over 2 years ago. And I can promise you, I saw what that top 10 was, and unsurprisingly, I will say my top 10 most played Harry Styles songs definitely has changed. I have listened to Harry's House for over 2 years now. I feel like it was very much so time to talk about Harry Styles again on this channel. It's going to be a bit different this time around. Harry's House really threw me for a loop, so I'm going to get right into it. There are certain songs that are getting booted from my original top 10 that it is actually hurting me in my soul, but I have to be true to what I've been listening to. But I just know I've got mad love for all the music. Number 10 is a song that I think ranked a lot higher on my last list, and that is from the first album, It Is Only Angel. Through my years of listening to Harry Styles music, I really do still have a soft spot for the debut album. I think the very 70s heavy inspired album really did make a lot of sense for him vocally, and I think it was a pretty safe path to pick as coming as the debut from One Direction, because One Direction definitely leaned more like pop rock. So it felt like a good new shift without going too crazy. I really love when he performs it live. Last time I saw him, it definitely wasn't on the set list, which I understand. He's got a lot of other bangers that he's gonna perform, but there's something about still to me with his tone of voice, the fun vocal melody, and just the rockiness. I think that'll always be my favorite rock moment for Harry Styles. So number 9 is Little Freak from Harry's House, which I'm sure for some people would be ranked a lot higher on the list. I enjoy Harry's slower ballads 100%, but I really do enjoy some of his more quick tempoed songs. But I really enjoy Little Freak. I think lyrically it's a really beautiful song, and I love the chorus. Singing along to the chorus feels so easy breezy to me, and it makes me not cry the way Matilda does. Matilda's so sad. So yeah, Little Freak, number 9. Number 8, this is going to be the last showing from the debut album. That's how the debut album really has gotten pushed up the list. And that is, of course, Sign of the Times. Sign of the Times started it all. It's still so grand. I still love it very much. I will never get over that one live performance that he did of it, I believe on the Graham Norton show. Absolute perfection. Really great. It's just a very cinematic song, and I can't say I listen to it all the time now, but it's definitely one of those, when the mood hits me and I put it on, it is a full-on belting moment for myself. I mean, it really puts me in a zone, and I love that about it. This next song wasn't on my last list, even though it's from Fine Line. So that just shows how much of a grower it's been on me over the years. And the song is Fine Line. So I think on the last list I had She, which I do not have on this list. And I feel like Fine Line is She's replacement. So for a big grand jam moment on Fine Line, the two tracks pretty much were She and Fine Line. And I feel like my vibe has been aligning more with Fine Line recently. Yes, it is definitely a builder. It is a very slow start, but once the song begins to take off, it really takes off. And I think there is such beauty to Fine Line. I feel like the lyrics just can resonate to so many people in so many different life scenarios. For me personally, one thing I really love about it is, although there is the big vocals and his voice is building, it really is the music that does such an excellent job of taking you away. And obviously the vocals complement that. But the ending, it just feels so satisfactory. And I love how tender it is right up until the very last note. It's like this huge build, booms, and then it comes back down very softly and sweetly. It's just really been one that I would say even the past few months, I have recently rediscovered, I'll say again, and just been like, man, that is a good one. Okay, so number 6 is also from the album Fine Line, and this was definitely on my last list, and I don't think it's ever going to leave. I love Lights Up. I love Lights Up. I know out of all the singles from Fine Line, Falling was more successful. Watermelon Sugar, obviously successful. Adore You, more successful. And I still want justice for Lights Up. I feel like it was such a great first single for Harry Styles post his debut album, because it made it immediately known that the tone of his music was changing. It was not reminiscent of the previous album at all. You had different instruments, different effects being used. And yeah, lyrically, it's a repetitive track. And I know that there's not like a ton of lyrics in it, but for some reason, I think it's just between the production and the vocal melody, I will always just think it is so incredibly catchy. I genuinely think it's one of his catchiest songs. And I might be alone in that, but I stand by my love for Lights Up. Number 5 could be considered a pretty rogue one. I'm not sure. I really don't know. And that's from Harry's House, Love of My Life. Spoiler, we're going to have a lot of Harry's House from here on out. Love of My Life is, I think, a beautiful song. And I did see somewhere that it's like his love letter to his country, England. I don't know if that's true or not, but I will say if it is, it makes sense with the lyrics. But regardless, I just feel like it's so dainty. Dainty is a good word because you have the acoustic songs, and Matilda's very heavy. Little Freak is heavier as well. But Love of My Life is just so pure and sweet lyrically, and it has very sweet sounding instruments being used on the track throughout it as well. And it's another one I really enjoy singing along to. I feel like it just flows along through the chorus. The only wish I have for Love of My Life is I understand how it ends, very simply with the piano, but I do feel like in my eyes, the song is begging for at least one time to have a huge jam ending. I feel like it could totally be that, especially performed live. And I would love to see it happen just once. Number 4, also from Harry's House, very opposite of Love of My Life, Music for a Sushi Restaurant. That has been a high rotation song on my workout playlist for the last 2 years. I tell you what, the chorus is just music. It's barely any words. Some people might not like that, but I love how groovy that one is. That song is pure fun. Lyrically, it's meant to be cheeky. It just probably doesn't really make all the most sense in the world lyrically, but that's what I love about it. I mean, that song title, Music for a Sushi Restaurant. Is it a mouthful? Absolutely. Are you gonna remember it? You're gonna at least remember part of it. That's the album opener, if I remember correctly. Let me see. Yeah, what a bang. But yeah, that's just one that like brightens my spirit every time I hear it. So it had to be in the top 5. So number 3, as soon as I heard this one on the album, I just knew. I was like, okay, if he doesn't open his next concert or his tour with Music for a Sushi Restaurant, this is the other song he could pick to do. And that is Daydreaming. Daydreaming is definitely more of your classic, like pump up, loving type of song, and the guitar on it so groovy. And when I first heard it, I was like, man, this feels familiar to me. Come to find out, John Mayer's on the guitar, which big John Mayer fan. It's like I felt it in my bones, but I was like, yes, he suits this track perfectly. That guitar adds a really good like just groove to the overall track, I think, to just elevate it a little bit more. Daydreaming puts me in a great mood, definitely asking to be a pump up song for the people. And I appreciate that because once again, Harry's House has some super serious songs on it. So it's good to have lighter moments like this. Well, number 2 was once my number 1. That is Golden, which once again, this flip-flops. You know, I feel like my number 1 is going to be very random for a lot of people. Golden and Daydreaming are really like, they are twins in my eyes, or sisters that look a lot alike. Golden is just so happy love song. Love all the harmonies, music arrangement. It's a true full band moment on that song. It just oozes sunshine, as it should. It's called Golden for a reason. And I feel like what Daydreaming is to me on Harry's House is what Golden was to me on Fine Line. So they're both songs that I don't think I will ever get tired of because they are simply just too joyous for me to be mad at them. I really appreciate getting in my feels with music, but I really love when music can make me just feel so elated and light. And Golden is a great example of that. So number 1 is from Harry's House. Surprise. So when I first heard Harry's House, probably the first at least 6 months, I probably would have never put this song on a top 10. Like it really grew on me, and that's Satellite. I think Satellite had to grow on me because at first with Harry's House, my initial gut reactions were the obvious jam songs, like the obvious pump up songs, and the very obvious, like very emotional, heartfelt songs. So Satellite's in between. Satellite starts a bit slower and then really becomes a beautiful, full on band moment. And I think it just took me some time to really realize it. A few listens with some solid headphones, and I was like, wait a minute. I just really like this one. I love the vocal melody a ton, and I love the harmonies that happen, especially once again, Harry Styles songs. I really enjoy the builds that happen. I feel like he loves a good build. I love a good build, and mid to end of that song really does it for me. Lyrically, once I really started to process the lyrics of Satellite, I really loved the message behind it. Basically being on the outside looking in on a person, essentially, or maybe having to stay afar from someone. What Satellite does for me is out of that whole top 10, I talked about some of the slower songs I really enjoy, or I also talk about Golden and Daydreaming being some of my favorite tracks. Satellite truly feels like combining both sides of Harry Styles and putting it into one track, like one shorter, very consumable style track that honestly I think could be a radio play track. I feel like it kind of takes different parts that I feel like he has been establishing that he'll have on an album and kind of tied it up very nicely. It was a major grower, but at this point, anytime the song comes on, I don't ever skip it. I'm like, I've always got time to listen to Satellite. So there it is, pretty lopsided top 10. A lot of songs from Harry's House. When I first heard Harry's House, honestly, it took me a couple listens to really figure out what I was feeling. But even then, the songs really have ebbed and flowed over the last 2 years of which ones I listen to most, which ones I don't. And I am going to include my honorable mentions right here, which are mostly going to be songs from Fine Line. It hurt my soul to not be able to include some of these Fine Line songs because I do love them so much. Now, whenever I've made any other type of ranking list, I always say this, and I'm going to say it again. Truly and genuinely, absolutely no right or wrong answer as to how you would rank your favorite songs. I would love to see, though, at least a few songs that you love. Even if you can't make a full top 10, let me know a few of your favorite tracks in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. You can subscribe if you would like to do so. And thank you so much for joining me and for being here. And until my next video, bye.